This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, once again, thank you everyone for joining this first demo session of our engineering batch, performance engineering batch. Okay, this is Satish from Isha. Quick introduction about me. I have close to 14 years of experience in IT industry across various sections of your life cycle, right? I've been part of performance testing, performance engineering, development. So, guys, able to hear me? Okay, hope you guys able to hear me. Okay, yeah, that's a quick introduction about me, and I've been taking this training on performance engineering and client-side performance, Selenium for performance, DevOps-based performance testing kind of a courses for last 2 to 3 years with Isha. Okay, so we'll be starting this course, this performance engineering course from it's today's a start day, but today will be more of a overview session for you to understand what is that you're going to learn over the next 4 to 5 weeks, right? So today will be more of a demo session or an overview session, and we'll get started with the actual course content from tomorrow or day after. Okay, fine. So I would believe most of you have joined this course or rather this session today, right? You might be a performance tester or probably doing some level of analysis and engineering, right? Or probably from at least from a testing background, right? And you might be already doing scripting using Jmeter or LoadRunner. You've been doing performance executions, doing some basic analysis, reporting, right? You might be doing all these things or just scripting or execution depending upon your skill set and expectation in the project, right? So from there, from a performance tester, if you want to upskill to the next level, right, to grow in your current company, to improve your skill set, to make yourself more relevant in the market, for you to go and clear the interviews for your in your other organization, to join the other organization, right? Obviously you should improve or upskill yourself in the performance domain. When you think of performance tester, what is the next thing? So you can keep learning the tools like from LoadRunner, Jmeter, Gatling. There are a lot of tools where you can still go and expand your skill set, but the tools are going to keep changing, right? Today you have Jmeter, LoadRunner. Tomorrow you will have some other tools, but concepts are going to be still same. If you're strong in one tool and the concept of parameterization, correlation, error handling, you can go and learn any tools within a week or so, right? That's not going to be a big deal. So really, if you wanted to upskill yourself and make yourself relevant, the next thing from a testing would be definitely the engineering, right? Performance engineering. So performance engineering is going to be a combination of your testing, analysis, little bit of networking administration, little bit of programming, because you in most of the places you would be asked to deploy your application in a server, in your own dedicated server for doing a profiling or for doing the thread dumps, heap dumps, right? You have to install tools, you have to install softwares, you have to deploy applications. So there, all these places you would need some basic level of networking or your administration of your hardwares and softwares, right? So it is good to have at least basic knowledge about in this space. And programming, see, we want to find faults. Tell developers that you have a problem with the response time. You have a problem with your memory. So which means if you know a little bit of programming, you're not going to be a code developers, right? We are not going to be code developers. At least if you can talk in a confident way when we speak about methods or objects or classes, that will give you some good confident to go and speak to the developers to tell where is the problem, what is the problem. So little bit of programming knowledge would help you, not a mandatory one, but it is good to have, right? So engineering, there is no boundary to it at all, right? You can do a lot of things starting from even before your application is getting developed. When you have architecture in place, to review the architecture, to correlate that with the your non-functional requirements, and then say your architecture will be scalable or not. Will it be able to meet your 3 seconds response time, 5 seconds response time? So experienced people, people with the or experience of 5 years, 8 years, 10 years in engineering, they can even do that kind of a review of your architecture. But not for the beginners. Definitely, even expectation is not going to review the architecture as a performance engineer at the beginning level, right? It's not going to be possible. It is not required as well. So which means performance engineering is going to have a lot of things, depending upon your experience, depending upon your exposure. You can do a lot of things. Okay, but minimal thing that is expected from a performance engineer is to do a server-side profiling, to find out the response time bottleneck, to find out the memory bottleneck at a single user level. Okay, and then using of APM tools uh, to monitor and troubleshoot a response time problem during a load test, to take some heap dumps, thread dumps, analyze it, and then to look into some AWR report to find out the bottlenecks, doing a client-side profiling, um, and monitoring your servers, setting up some open source monitoring tools. So all these things are the minimal expectation from the performance engineer, uh, and that is what we are going to focus on, right? If you are a performance tester today, and if you have a very minimal knowledge in engineering, or if you don't have any knowledge in engineering, this is a right course for you to take it up, so that within the 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of a span, you would be able to call yourself a beginner level of performance engineering, right? That is how the course is tailored, in a way that you'll be able to practically go and do this on your own, deploying a Java application, and then finding out response time problem, memory problem, using tools like JProfiler, client-side profiling, heap dump, thread dump, garbage collection analysis, APM monitoring using AppDynamics. So all these basics, when I say basics, at a beginner level, right? For a performance engineer to do a project as a beginner or beginner to intermediate, that is how the this course is tailored. Okay, so if you see here, I have listed out all the topics that we will cover over the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Okay, so we'll go over these topics at a very high level. Okay, and then probably tomorrow I'll take one of this topic, and then probably go over a session for you to understand how it is going to look like. Okay, so from a topic perspective, we will start with Java basics, and then the JVM basics, right? The basics are very important for you to understand, so that you can relate that when we go into the engineering sessions. So initially we will focus on Java basics and JVM basics. We'll also, as I was mentioning earlier, right, it is good to know a little bit of programming, very basics about programming. Okay, so I'll be sharing a few materials, few code snippets, and we'll also have a session on doing a hands-on Java program. Okay, again, our intention is not to be a developer, for us to get our hands dirty, so that we can go and create programs, create a package, or create a Java application, do a deployment in Tomcat, and then start the server, So once you know what a developer might be doing behind the scene, that would give you more confidence on um, taking up that engineering, finding out problems, and going and talking to the developer on their own language, right? So that is what we wanted to uh, give you, that confidence, that knowledge. We will have this Java basics and JVM basics, and from there we will start our engineering sessions. We will have a application deployed. There will be a problem already created in the code. We will go and do the response time analysis, debug the problem. Okay, we'll be using the tool like JProfiler, Tomcat access logs, Chrome developer tools to do the response time analysis and debug the problem. Okay, and then from there we will go to the memory analysis. For that, we will go into the concept about Java heap and Java stack. Okay, and then we'll go into the memory leak analysis, your server-side profiling using tool like JProfiler, JConsole. We'll be able to go and find out the memory growth, how the memory growth is happening, what is good, what is bad, how to identify the leaks, how to get into the root cause of the objects that are leaking. That is what we will be looking into the in the memory leak analysis section. Okay, memory is going to be again close to a week session where we will look into leak analysis, heap dump analysis, garbage collection analysis. Right, it's going to be a series of sessions covering all that is required from a memory analysis. Okay, and then from there we'll go into the threads. See, when you look into the any application, right, you will need CPU, you will need memory, and depending upon that, your performance is going to vary. Okay, and for CPU, it's all about threads. Depending upon number of threads that are active, it is going to impact your CPU, and in turn it is going to impact your performance. So Java thread as a concept, we'll try to understand how Java threads are created, what are the various states of threads, how to configure the threads from a minimum and maximum, thread contentions, and then thread dump analysis. When a response time is high, when a CPU is high, your thread utilization is high, why to take a thread dump, how to take a thread dump, how to analyze a thread dump. All these things we'll be looking into it in detail. From there, we'll move on to a client side analysis. Okay, client side profiling is again a hot topic in the market, in the interviews, everywhere you go, people talk about client side profiling, client side analysis. So we will get into the basics about how we do a client side testing, what are all browser tools available. There are APIs available to get these metrics in the developer tool. So we'll go and get the basics about client side analysis, client side testing, and we'll also go into a engineering aspect of client side, how to provide recommendations, how to analyze and provide recommendation to improve your page size or your client side response time. Right? That's going to be again a comprehensive session on client side analysis. And then so far we have done all these single user profiling for response time, leak analysis, heap dump, thread dump, client side analysis, right? From there, before we go to run a any load test, right, it is very important to understand the architecture and create a monitoring strategy, right? We'll discuss about how to create a monitoring strategy, and as for the monitoring, we'll go and learn AppDynamics, an APM tool, how to configure it, how to configure the tool with your Java application, what are the various things you will monitor in the AppDynamics, how do you troubleshoot a response time problem, um, how do you take these heap dumps from AppDynamics. So we'll have a comprehensive session on AppDynamics, practical, all these things, whatever I'm talking about. Yeah, 80% it is going to be a practical. I'll be doing it hands-on practical during a session, and I'll be uploading all these artifacts and tools for you to practice on your own in your laptop. Okay, that is how the sessions are going to be. Okay, in fact, I'll go to the next slide where I'll talking about what are things you would need to have it in your laptop. Okay, so from AppDynamics, we'll go to the open source monitoring called Telegraph, Inflex, and Grafana. So we'll try to understand why these tools are required for monitoring, how to install it, how to configure it. We'll have a hands-on session on the open source monitoring. Okay. From there, we'll go to the database side of your application. So far, whatever we have seen is all about application. From a database perspective, Oracle being a very important DB. From an enterprise application perspective, we'll try to understand the database architecture, and then we'll go and connect the Oracle DB, see how to configure the snapshots, how to take the snapshots, how to take the AWR report, and then what are all things that is important from an AWR perspective. Okay, all these things we will learn from an application performance engineer. We are not going to be DBAs. We are not going to be database architects, database engineer. We are an application performance engineer. So from that perspective, we'll try to understand what are all things that we will be looking into the AWR report. Right, things like buffer cache, things like parsing, hard parsing, soft parsing, all these things we'll learn from an AWR perspective. And then finally, we will go into some theoretical stuffs, non-functional requirements and engineering strategy. So we have seen, after learning all these things, right, then it will be easy for you to, when I'm going to talk about the engineering strategy, what are all things that will be in the engineering strategy, it will be easy for you to relate it. Okay, so we'll have this about what is non-functional requirement, how do we gather the non-functional requirement, how to do the engineering strategy. We'll have that session separately. And then finally, though all these things, engineering things, we'll cover it, right? Everywhere you go in the interview or in any of your project, people talk about DevOps. People talk about cloud. So we'll try to get into the introduction about DevOps. So I have some hands-on on Jenkins Jmeter integration. Practically, I'll share some scenarios, the best practices that we follow in a project where we wanted to integrate performance testing into DevOps, right? That is something a very interesting topic, but we'll keep it at an introduction level, and so that you will get bare minimum information about the DevOps and Jenkins Jmeter integration. Similarly for cloud as well, cloud is an infrastructure provider, right? They rent out infrastructure. So which means your application performance engineering is not going to change. Your response time analysis is not going to change. Heap analysis is not going to change. Leak analysis is not going to change. GC is going to be there. Threats is going to be there. Threat dump analysis is going to be there. Client side analysis is relevant. APM is relevant. Database AWR is relevant. What is that additional things you will do it in cloud? That we will try to understand. What is the delta? What are the additional scenarios we have to look into it from a resiliency, auto scaling kind of a thing, right? We'll try to understand how do we what is the delta, what we should know about cloud performance. So all these things put together is going to be our topic for this engineering batch. Okay, the way we'll do it here is I'm going to have application which I'm going to deploy it in Tomcat. Okay, and we will I'll creating some problem in those code. I'll deploy it. We will test it. We'll find problems. We will diagnose or profile the code, and then come up with the root cause. That is how we are going to do it. And for you to practice it, right? So you're going to listen to me. You're going to look into my practical session on all these topics, and you're expected to whenever you get time during the daytime or in the weekends, right? If you're going to practice this uh, at least once, right? During the session, during the next 3 to 4 weeks, or at least after that, right? It is going to give you more and more confidence on going and answering these questions in the interview, or even taking up the engineering project, right? So the problem with the engineering is, if you don't have experience, people will not take you, right? So which means if you go to an interview and tell that you have taken this engineering course, you haven't got a chance so far to work on any of the project, but I have installed the applications. I have profiled the code for response time memory. I've done the heap dump. I've done the thread dump. I've done the AWR report. I've done the client side profiling. I have done thread dumps, heap dumps. I have used APM tool. I have used the open source tools like Telegraph, InfluxDB. I know the basics about DevOps, Jenkins, Jmeter integration. I've done all these things hands-on, as out of my passion, out of my interest. If you go and tell this to the interviewer, nobody will hesitate to take you, right? If there are positions available, and when they compare you with other people who knows only testing, obviously they will go and take you. See, if they want a really experienced engineer, they will always go for performance engineer who are experienced only. But if they wanted a performance tester with a basic knowledge about engineering, then you will be definitely a differentiator from the other people. So advice or recommendation would be, at least once, if you can follow whatever we have done in the session, if you can go and replicate in your laptop, that would do a very good thing for you in the future to clear the interviews. What you need, just a laptop, Java, Eclipse, a Tomcat, and few tools, right? And I'll share you all the tools from where to download the Java application. I'll give it your code to import in Eclipse. I'll give it all the other artifacts, analysis files. I'll give it, right, so that it will make your job easy to do the practice on your laptop. Okay. All these things will be also uploaded to the drive. Your daily videos will be available in the YouTube for you to look back a day after a week. The videos will always be available for you. There is no expiry date at all. After 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whenever you want to look into the videos, recorded videos will be available, and access to the Google Drive, right? I'll just show you the drive as well. Okay, so in the drive you will have the access to the folder where all the relevant artifacts, analysis, softwares that we will be using in the session will be uploaded here, and you will get an access to this so that you can download and practice it. Say for example, memory leak, right? You will have the analysis document, whatever we create during the session will be uploaded here, and then your heap dump files, heap reports, and then the war files that you will deploy it in the Tomcat, right, with the memory leak. Everything will be uploaded to the folder, which you can use it, download it, and practice it. Not only during the session, after these sessions are over also, you will still have the access to these folders. Response time analysis, thread lock issues, strategies, scripts, Oracle, monitoring, garbage collection, sample Java code for which you can practice it for your hands-on. Everything will be part of the your Google Drive, and the recorded videos will be uploaded to the YouTube as well. Okay, so I'll just take a pause here, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, or you can voice it over. Okay, there's one question. All these concepts can be done only in Java. See, there are certain things from an engineering perspective, right? If you take any architecture, you're going to have Java, you might have .NET, you might have Python, you might have Node. There are a lot of programming languages, frameworks, right? You cannot go and learn everything for sure. You have to start somewhere. Best place to start is Java, right? Because Java, definitely in any enterprise architecture, you will find Java for sure, right? So we have to start somewhere, and Java being the most common, still common, and still going to be relevant in the upcoming years, right? In the near future as well, it's going to be still relevant. Java is going to be a lot more relevant. So spending our time, effort in learning Java performance engineering is still going to be very appropriate. And once you learn all these topics, right, you can definitely apply this concept, apply this methodologies in any other programming language. Every programming language is going to have a CPU, it's going to have a memory. There are going to be CPU problem, there is going to be thread problem, there is going to be memory problem, and it will have its own tools to do these analysis and profiling. Okay, your client-side analysis, APM tools, infrastructure monitoring, database analysis, all these things are going to be very common. From a responsive analysis, your memory analysis, each programming languages framework might have their own way of doing it. But as a beginner, to start somewhere, this is the best way to start it. And every interview you go, you will get questions around Java basics, JVM basics, heap, stack, heapdom, threadum, GC, definitely. And then depending upon wherever you're going to work, it could be Node.js application, or it could be a Python application. You may have to adapt to those technologies. Java is what we will be covering it in this course. DevOps and AWS. I don't know what is the question. See, DevOps and AWS too. It's part of the future ready sessions. So we'll have introduction to DevOps. What is performance testing in DevOps? Jenkins Jmeter integration. We'll be looking into it practically, and then I'll be sharing what are the challenges we might face during the uh, um, uh, performance testing into DevOps, how to handle it, some practical lessons that we have learned. We will be sharing it with you. Okay. Similarly for cloud as well, it is an introduction to the cloud. What tools you will be using in the cloud? What are the additional scenarios? What is resiliency? What is auto scaling? How to test the auto scaling? That is what you will learn from my introduction to the cloud. Okay. Any other questions, guys, on the topics or timings, or whatever questions you have, guys, with respect to the whatever I've spoken so far? Feel free to ask. Okay, duration of the course is going to be approximately, it will be around 24-25 hours based on the previous sessions, right? It might be anywhere between 24 to 30 hours, depending upon the kind of interaction we are going to have, kind of questions that we are going to have in the sessions. It might be between 24 to 30 hours. So every day we will be having 1 hour in the weekdays, not in the weekend. So Monday to Friday, IST, 1 hour. So total duration will be around 24 to 30 hours.
Right. Would you be able to tell me when the course is due to start, please?
Hey, sorry, your voice is not clear.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hello?
And not it. I could able to hear your voice, but not clear.
Okay, maybe I'll text on the chat, yeah?
Can you please put it in the chat otherwise?
Which will it be like 9 to 10 always every day during the weekend? Sorry, during the weekdays.
Weekdays, it is between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST.
Okay. So in case due to some personal reason, if you miss something, will it be uploaded on daily basis, or do we have to wait until the course completed?
No. The videos, say for example, today's video will be available tomorrow afternoon or by tomorrow evening. So before your next session starts, the video will be available.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Satish.
On the next day, the video will be uploaded. Okay. The start date, we will start it from tomorrow. Okay. From tomorrow, the sessions will get started. That is the plan. Yeah. So tomorrow being a Thursday, right? From tomorrow, the sessions will get started. Today is more of an overview session. From tomorrow, we'll get started. See, MacBook, I don't see a problem, real problem. Java will be compatible with any of these OS, right? And all these tools as well. It will be available in all these in Mac as well. But only thing is, say, for example, if you want to install Tomcat, for example, right? if you got stuck with something, I might not be able to provide you some solution to you ready-made. You might have to search in the internet and do it, for example. But all the softwares that we use are open source tools, from JProfiler, from even AppDynamics also. We are going to use a trial version. So either trial versions or open source. Your JConsoles, your JProfiler, your Visual VM, AppDynamics, Telegraph InfluxDB, um, the client-side profiling tools, everything is going to be open source or it's going to be a trial version. And definitely 99.9% will be compatible with Mac for sure. But you might have to probably dig some more in Google if at all some installation is not working right. You might have to figure that out in the internet. Whereas for Windows, since we have been using it for n number of years, right? We'll have a lot of support in the Google also. If you go and search some issue in the Google, you will get it. So Mac as well, you should not have a problem. If in case you have a problem, we might have to just do a little bit of more troubleshooting to complete the installation. Otherwise, yes, it will be compatible. Yeah, and payment details, you can reach out to Kumar sir. He might have options even with Google Pay or PayPal. I think he has multiple options, I believe. So you can just message the WhatsApp group admin or Kumar sir. He can guide you.
Hi, this is Arun.
Yeah, Arun.
Yes, actually, so apart from this, like, is this the only course for performance engineering, or you have anything even more advanced beyond this? Or
No, we don't have an advanced engineering course apart from this. We have the similar engineering course from other trainers, but again, all these things are all on par, same kind of a topics. It's not a advanced, not advanced it.
okay, and
Yeah,
do we get any help regarding these interviews or something like that? Some questions or something
yes.
uh, regularly?
Yes. So based on our experience, based on the questions that we ask our students who get these questions right, they update us. So we have a report with some questions that is frequently asked in the interview that we will share it in the sheet.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other question, guys? We
So
can.
this
What are the
course timings is it's going to be every day between 9 to 10.
Yeah, it will be weekdays, Monday to Friday. It will be between 9 to 10. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Can we choose any other timings, or we need to go with this only?
No, it's a one slot in a day, right? So it is 9 to 10. Um,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
that is more important for choosing the slot. If at all somebody is interested only in the morning hours of your US evening hours, right? You probably message us. Probably in case if we have the next batch in the evening hours, let you know. But for this course, this batch, it will be between 9 to 10 p.m. IST.
And whatever the recording for the 1 hour will be available by next day afternoon.
Yeah, approximately by next day afternoon, it will be available. That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You can get any notes in PDF. Yes, see, there are few materials, performance engineering materials from Isha. They'll be sharing it to you, being a Word document or a PDF that will be shared. That is not related to the every topic that we cover here, but that is more about a generic performance engineering documents, PDFs. The Isha Institute will share it with you. Okay, there's another question. I am new with the performance testing, so will this understandable for fresher? To be honest, if you are a fresher and if you are just started with the performance testing, see, people in the organization, they get into performance testing and then they get into engineering. That is one way, one of the track. In certain organization, people get into the engineering directly without performance testing also. Because testing is more about you create scripts using LoadRunner Jmeter to simulate the user actions, you execute it, right? And you do a basic analysis. There is a performance testing. And the engineering is something something outside of that, right? It's more about analysis, more about performance bottleneck identification. So if you performance this course, if you are new to performance testing also, it is still going to be lot relevant. If you are interested, if you want to learn engineering without even you knowing about LoadRunner or Jmeter, this is something not going to impact you. This is something you're going to learn from basics only, right? So I don't think it will be a problem. Even if you're new to performance testing, this is new to performance engineering. So nothing wrong in learning performance engineering as a fresher. So you can definitely take it up. Okay. So we'll have 4 more minutes. Any other questions today? Any other doubts? Anything related to the your course content or course details? You can message me in the Google group or in the WhatsApp separately. If needed, we can have a one-on-one call to understand or clarify your doubts. Anything related to the payments, you can reach out to Kumar sir. And I just wanted to show you one thing before we wind up the today call, right? Okay. So the application which we'll be using is a library applications. I have a Tomcat in which I have deployed this library war file. Okay, and if I go to the bin and open the, I'll show you all these things in detail. What is this catalan.bat file? Why do we use this? So in the catalan file is where we will go and provide this heap configuration. How many memory you want? I want 250 MB of minimum memory, 500 of maximum memory. Okay, and then to provide the number of threads, right? I go to the configuration file and open the server.xml, and there I can go and provide how many threads I want to run. So all these things in detail we will be learning it anyway over the period of time. Okay, so we see I've given max as 5, minimum of thread, run it in 8082 port. Okay, once I give all these things, I've given the memory, I've given the thread, I can go and start my Tomcat. Okay, so the war file now will get deployed in the Tomcat web server. Probably it'll take some couple of seconds. So you also see that something called AppDynamics is configured successfully, right? If you go up somewhere, you would have seen that message. Where is that? I am trying to locate that AppDynamics confirmation message. Yeah, if you see here, right, started AppDynamics Java agent successfully. So my Tomcat does not configure the AppDynamics. All these things anyway, we will have a detailed session on how to configure the AppDynamics, how to start the Tomcat, how to deploy application. But just for you to show you the sample application, I just started the Tomcat now, and then the application, I'll go and open it here. Okay, so this is the application where it will have a admin login, it will have a librarian login. I'll log into this application. We will have add librarian, view librarian, logout. So we'll have some of the functionalities which we will use it for doing the profiling or running some load test scripts, and then troubleshooting the response time problem in AppDynamics. So this is the application which we'll be using it for our course. And this WAR file, this code of this e-library, everything will be given to you as well in the Google Drive, so that you can download. You can download the Tomcat. You can open it like what I have done it in my system. You can deploy the WAR file in the Tomcat, and you can use it for your analysis, your profiling, your script creation. Okay, so that is how we are going to learn this. I will do everything practically in the course, and if you can have the latest Java, Eclipse, Tomcat, and the Java application which I'm going to give it, plus some of the tools like JProfiler, Visual VM, right, you will be able to use it and practice it. And in the drive as well, right, we will have the sheet, Google Sheet, where just let me open that. You will have something called softwares sheet, where I'll provide a link to all the software that you will need to download it, right? Every tools, every software that we'll use it, I'll give an access to the sheet as well. We will find all these information there, where to download, which link you have to go, and what version you have to download. All these things will be available to you. And we'll also have a sheet opened for our Q&A. During a session, you can ask questions. Yeah, I'll clarify it. If you get any other questions while you look into the recorded videos, or if you practice, right, you can also put it in the sheet, and so that I can answer it whenever I get time. That is how we can also collaborate. Okay. Fine, guys. So with this, we'll end the session for today. Hope this has given you good information about how the sessions are going to be held, what are the topics that we are going to cover. Okay, if you have any questions still, you can put it in the WhatsApp group, or you can message me. If you wanted any clarification, we can also connect over the WhatsApp call during a daytime tomorrow. Okay, let me know, guys. Yeah, thanks for your time. We'll again meet tomorrow. Yeah, thank you.